everybody, it is me, Jurassic Master, here to say that today we are going to be reacting to the new Terrible Lizard Dinosauria episode. I know I'm like a week late, some personal things came up, and my computer has not been working. So we're going to be reacting to both Terrible Lizard and making of it in one video. I usually would split this up into two videos, but yeah. Also, my camera doesn't work, like, at all. I don't know what I did. I somehow disabled it. The computer came and does not work here. I did make a PNG model that I've been using for streams. So if we want to maybe bring that in as like a substitute, I would be totally down. If this video gets, I don't know, put a number on screen. If we get this many views, I'll bring in the PNG model. But anyways, let's start this. I'm very excited. I think this one has like an iguanodon kind of theme. Yeah. Yeah. And the frog. Man, this looks so cool. Like, I love the animation. I love this kind of, I don't know, monochrome kind of style that he's made. Iguanodons. Ooh, some yummy grass. Never mind. A baby one? Yeah, I guess a baby one. I like the music. This kind of, I don't know. I don't remember if Dead Sound made this, like, makes music himself or what, but music was really good there. Next. Or more grass. Oh. Ones where one of them died before? It's not good. It kind of has nest vibes. Yep, I knew it. Uh-oh. Oh! I don't... Whatever it is cool. I'm trying to think what other, like, early dinosaur... This... Is it supposed to be T-Rex? I guess it's supposed to be T-Rex. Oh, wow. I like this, that it's like changing through the times. Oh, the little babies! It's gonna roll like that. Damn. Is he gonna transform again? Look at those eyebrows. Oh no, it's alive. Ooh. Oh, hells yeah. Still got fighting ya. I mean, you did kind of walk at the T-Rex's nest. So... she's just trying to provide for her babies. I kind of feel bad for the Rex because she's just trying to feed her kids. Babies. Alright, I guess you can eat me. I get the stripes. Is that supposed to be like a reference to like the, not, oh my gosh, what is it? The shrink wrapping kind of Rex. Like when they, like, I feel like they would like shrink wrap all the dinosaurs. I wonder if that's a reference to like that. Wow. Absolute cinema. Oh wait, that's not it. Oh, and it's like, oh! 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 Look at the baby! And this is like the modern Rex, where it's got feathers. Look at you. Are you gonna go back after it? Finish him off? Or no? Nope, just let that one go. Yeah, little babies to take care of. Gotta get them food. Wait a minute. Why do you have 3 claws? Oh. Some little birds. I like these colors. Wow, that was really good. Oh, we got a new person to make music. How's that? Dude. Yes. This was a really good episode. A really good start. Really good start.
Hello, this is David, and thank you so much for watching my film. I absolutely love dinosaurs, and this particular film is my own personal celebration of all things paleontology, paleomedia, paleo-art, all things dinosaur over the past 200 years. And if you'd like to know more about how I created this film,
absolutely, we're going to go watch that in a second. Alright, here we are. Now,
My name is
the
David,
reaction.
and a few years ago I created my
To
Dinosauria
the making
animated
of.
series.
Yes, old buck. 2021?
This was an
Oh my God.
enormous project
Oh my
requiring an
gosh.
almost unfathomable amount of work. Tons of research, tons
I
of
feel
drawings.
old.
a
I felt like
gigantic
that was
sketchbook,
like
and
only
even
2 years
a
ago,
collection
not
of
like,
large clay
you know,
sculptures, which
like
all culminated into the 5
Or-
finished animated short films themselves. The Dinosauria series was a massive undertaking, but it was without a doubt the happiest I've ever been creating anything. So now I'm doing it all over again. Only this time,
yeah.
bigger and better.
I don't know. Old Buck is probably my favorite episode. But damn, this was a really cool thing to see. Damn, what an artist! Really like that. My gosh.
There were hundreds of ideas I had for the first volume of Dinosauria films back in 2020. One of the very first ideas I came up with was going to be about Spinosaurus. This scrapped film was going to be called Through the Ages, and was going to take the viewer from the generic tail-dragging carnosaur of 1912 all the way up to the semi-aquatic fish eater of 2020.
How's yeah?
Although this
Fish.
film was cancelled, the concept of taking the audience on a virtual history lesson through our ever-evolving understanding of these animals really, really stuck with me.
I love his.
And 4 years
I
later,
love his eye. Like, oh my goodness, what's happening? I mean, he's big
and
attack.
4 years later, in 2024, I finally decided to revisit the concept with what would eventually become Terrible Lizards.
Yes.
You see, 2024 marked the 200-year anniversary of our very first dinosaur. This was a gigantic, carnivorous, prehistoric reptile yet unknown to science that the Victorians named Megalosaurus. Here is a cast of the lectotype. This dentary, plus some isolated teeth and perhaps a piece of the hip, but I'm not sure if we discovered that yet, was all they had to reconstruct this species. This life-size statue in Crystal Palace Park in London is how we believed Megalosaurus looked 200 years ago. 18 years after that, we had the formation of Dinosauria itself, which classified Iguanodon, Hylaeosaurus, and Megalosaurus, the three animals featured on screen right now, as a distinct clade within the fossil record. These were our first dinosaurs. This was, and still is, Dinosauria, and the perfect cast to help reimagine my old Through the Ages idea.
Yeah. Amazing.
For each of my Dinosauria films, I've made large clay sculptures of the star species. For
How's
Terrible Lizards, I decided to sculpt a Megalosaurus.
Yeah.
I started this piece with a wire framework and balled up aluminium foil to form what would eventually become the sculpture's legs and torso. I also rolled out some sausagey arms, a long tail,
I like
and
how
the
he makes
general shape of the
physical
upper and lower
models to kind of
jaws.
like, I don't know if he
I
uses
used
them
that-
as like reference or like what, but like I love that they
air drying clay for my
make
sculptures.
models.
But
So
I
it's
made
like
sure
such
to
a
use
like that's an
Milliput
extra
instead
step, but like
to
just
bulk out the legs of this
That's so
particular
cool.
piece. Milliput is an epoxy putty, and it's a lot more durable than clay. And with Megalosaurus being a biped, its skinny wee legs needed all the structural support I could give them. After all was dried and cured, I then attached the arms and the tail and began bulking out the rest of the animal. I sculpted the final skin details of this piece using a multitude of different techniques. Most of the skin of this sculpture is scaly, so I made these simple, scaly texture stamps. But I also made these large, scaly texture plates, which I used to quickly create large patches of dinosaur skin to then wrap around the model.
that's smart.
These skin patches aren't usually convincing enough for me, so I always go in with more traditional sculpting tools to carve out whatever extra details I need. For this Megalosaurus in particular, I also wanted it to have a jacket of feathers running down its back, which I sculpted in last. Once I was happy with the finished sculpt, I primed it with a spray, painted it with acrylic paints and brushes, and of course, made sure to serenade the piece before sealing all my work away with a clear matte spray. I think the final piece is nice enough.
What do you mean, dude? This looks amazing!
I particularly like the unorthodox purple colour.
Yeah.
All of my Volume 1 sculptures were painted quite naturally and posed quite peacefully, so I thought a more aggressive pose with vivid colours would be a really nice change of pace. It's just a bit of a shame that the head of this thing turned out so ugly.
What do you mean?
I haven't sculpted in a long time, literally not since sculpting this T-Rex, which was over 4 years ago, and I think it really shows with this Megalosaurus.
I don't know, dude. I know you don't like it, but like, I think it's
the
great.
pose and the anatomy are all fine, but the head just turned out too weird and blobby and boxy. Which is honestly fine. It's not really why I made these sculptures. You see, originally I made these sculptures to better understand the animal I was going to animate, but this was never really a necessary animation step. I just wanted to sculpt dinosaurs. However, the more sculptures I made for Dinosauria Volume 1, the more I found this process to be pretty mentally necessary. You see, making these animations takes a very, very long time. All on my own, months, if not years of work spent almost entirely in front of a computer screen. It can get really bad. But creating these sculptures physically with my hands with clay and paint breaks up that monotony and really helps keep these, frankly, enormous Dinosauria projects from becoming too overwhelming. So yeah, I love making these big clay things, even if they turn out not the best, and I'll keep making them for each and every Dinosauria film I create.
Yeah.
During the first stage of Terrible Lizards, we see all three dinosaurs we had back at the dawn of Dinosauria: Iguanodon, Hylaeosaurus, and Megalosaurus. These designs were heavily based on the life-size statues designed by Benjamin Waterhouse Hawkins that still stand in Crystal Palace Park today.
I think it'd be really cool to see these in person.
The opening two shots of this film are a direct reference to these cornerstone pieces of paleo history. These depictions may seem incredibly outdated today, and they are, but it's very important to remember that the Victorians had very little to work from when trying to reconstruct these animals. Not only were the fossils super fragmentary, but back in 1842, science just wasn't the same as it is today. This is a time before paleontology, before evolution by natural selection, and before the modern concept of extinction. I think, given the constraints of the time, these reconstructions are actually quite inspired, even if they did infamously put Iguanodon's thumb spike on the tip of its nose.
Oh my gosh, I love this!
This your bag, sir?
What gave it away?
Oh, you the Geico Gecko! I filed a claim for my car with the Geico app.
During the second stage of the film, we jump forward to around the 1950s. Our knowledge of dinosaurs has come a long way by this point. As far as Iguanodon is concerned, we've gone from just some teeth and a thumb spike to multiple, beautifully preserved and fully articulated specimens thanks to the Bernissart mines in Belgium. However, dinosaurs of this period were still portrayed as very cold-blooded and lizard-like, though standing upright and dragging their tails. A big inspiration for this Iguanodon design in particular was in fact this old Invicta model. He's a charming little guy who was very scientifically accurate for his time.
Oh. You ever seen his own guy?
Unlike Iguanodon, which was blessed with multiple complete skeletons by the 1900s, Megalosaurus was just as fragmentary as ever. In fact, the genus had become a wastebasket taxon with a frankly preposterous number of species attributed to it. To reflect this, I decided to depict Megalosaurus as a super generic, almost undiagnosable chimera of what would be called a carnosaur at the time. Most of the inspiration for this design, unsurprisingly, came from the stop-motion effects of Willis O'Brien and Ray Harryhausen. And I think the Valley of Gwangi influence certainly came through the most.
I do like something about
By
like the
third stage of the film, you're
1950s.
getting a lot.
Like, I think the first like version was like, oh yeah, that's cool, but I like the 1950 ones because like that reminds me of kind of movies I would watch, like the Godzilla movies, like it's not Gorosaurus, but this dinosaur, it reminds me of this one. And like the early 2000s one, I guess the 80s to the 2000s, where I had these, I'll see if I can find these cards, but I had these like dinosaur cards, and I read them, I looked at them, I would bring them everywhere I would go. They were like my favorite things to carry around as a kid, and like looking at them, they were like shrink wrap. You could see skin and bones. I think it's called the shrink wrap kind of era. I don't know, but like I liked how shrink wrapped they were, and that was nostalgic for me because I had these dinosaur cards, and they looked like they were shrink wrapped, and like so that's important to me. So like the time before this, when they were super inaccurate, was like old Godzilla movies I would watch, and Kong, and like all those kind of 1950s movies. And then the shrink wrap one is kind of like the cards that I had
Dinosaur designs of
growing up
today.
with. But yeah,
By around the 1990s, these animals are postured more correctly, and being post-dinosaur renaissance, they're more bird-like, they're warm-blooded, active, and portrayed as far more intelligent than they have been in the past. Designs of this era are kinda ugly. They're often very skinny and toothy and emaciated looking, but I do still like them a lot.
I mean, I like them because
This
it's
is
nostalgic.
what dinosaurs looked like when I was a kid. These are the dinosaurs I fell in love with.
Yeah.
In fact, the biggest inspiration for these designs was the original 1999 BBC Walking with Dinosaurs series, which is what initially interested me in dinosaurs. And to this day, it's probably my favourite thing ever made by anyone, ever.
And then we got the modern
By
day
the final
ones.
stage of the film, we catch up to the dinosaur art, science and media of today. A lot of the changes here are quite small, but I think really add up to create vastly more
really like
naturalistic
those
looking
purples.
designs. The Megalosaurus, for example, is now holding its hands in the correct orientation, the animal is more fleshed out, it has lips and a dozen other things, but the most obvious change here is definitely the addition of feathers.
Yeah, the feathers.
While we have no direct evidence of feathers in Megalosaurus itself, there is a small possible megalosauroid called Sciurimimus, which definitely does. But even regardless of that connection, it's just an incredibly popular trend to add speculative feathers to dinosaur designs today, just as shrink wrapping was 20 years ago and tail dragging was 70 years ago. So these feathers were a perfect addition to help illustrate our ever-changing views of these animals. As for my modern iguanodon, the animal is far beefier, the beak is fixed, its hands have been totally reworked, and the animals are portrayed as sexually dimorphic. All the adult males of the herd have an extra colour accent around their eyes that the females lack. Just like feathers, this detail is speculative, but it's exactly the type of thing you see in modern day paleo-reconstructions. Tagging along with the iguanodon herd in a not so subtle nod to the Polacanthus in Walking with Dinosaurs is a single Hylaeosaurus, looking very different from its opening appearance. Of these initial three dinosaurs, Hylaeosaurus was the hardest to reconstruct accurately. It is by far the most neglected of the trio when it comes to paleomedia, and by far the one that has been the least studied. The final two animals featured in the film are Clobiodon and Cetiosaurus. Clobiodon is a ramphorincid pterosaur and Cetiosaurus is a sauropod dinosaur. I don't have a whole lot to say about these two, they were kinda last minute additions to the film, but one of the two people who redescribed Clobiodon in 2018 is actually a Patreon supporter of mine, which I didn't learn until yesterday, so shout out to you, Michael. Thank you for your work, and I hope I did your little pterosaur proud. Cetiosaurus, on the other hand, is of note because it's the first sauropod we ever discovered. In fact, it was named the same year Dinosauria was formed, 1842, but was originally misidentified as a large marine reptile. And because of this, Cetiosaurus likely only just missed out on becoming the fourth founding member of the Dinosauria clade.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Lining all of these models up, oldest to newest, you can really see the history of our understanding of these mysterious creatures evolve over the past 200 years. Starting with the initial elephant-like reptiles of the Victorian era, followed by the tail-dragging, lumbering and cold-blooded monsters of the 1900s, then the more active, bird-like and intelligent portrayals of the dinosaur renaissance, and finally, the naturalistic and contemporary depictions of today. I absolutely love all of these interpretations and never really wanted to frame any of these outdated depictions as inferior or even really wrong. No, I made this film not to criticise but to celebrate our ever-evolving knowledge of these ancient and fascinating animals.
That is so... Yes, I'm glad. Like, too many people kind of like, oh, this is inaccurate, so it's
Before I move on
terrible!
to the next segment, I wanted to inform you all that I'll be speaking at DinoCon 2025.
Ooh.
This will be a big dinosaur-themed convention which will be held at the University of Exeter in England on August 16th and August 17th. I'll be speaking specifically on the 17th in person about my background, my animation work, my Dinosauria series, and everything in between. Feel free to check out the DinoCon 2025 website for more information. I create my animated short films using a mix of 2D and 3D animation. All the characters, creatures and props are 3D models, animated in 3 dimensions but textured to look as 2-dimensional as possible. The environments these creatures live in, however, are all 2D drawings. Each and every single one of these backdrops must be drawn from scratch every single time the camera moves position.
Cool though.
For this film in particular, I had to create a whopping 15 different character models, which you can see on screen right now. I think this is the most new models I've ever had to create for a single film before. All of which needed to be 3D modelled, rigged, textured and animated in their own specific and unique ways.
As someone who has made their own model, that's hard. But yet again, I'm new to this model making stuff, and I'm like going to school for it and like animation. But doing this on your own, like I kudos to you, man. Extreme kudos. It's like this is so cool. It's like I understood it back then, and it was very cool. And it's don't get me wrong, it still is. But now that I have like gone to school or going to school for it a little bit, and like done some personal projects, like it is so cool to see him just do it by himself. Like
likely
it's so
never
cool.
To be reused again. Thankfully, I quite enjoy creating new designs and whipping up new 3D models and rigs, especially when it comes to dinosaurs, so this part of the animation process was quite a lot of fun. Painting all of the 2D backdrops, however, I don't enjoy so much. But thankfully, unlike the character models, these could be reused. The Megalosaurus lair, which virtually the entire film is set in, besides colour changes, is the exact same at the start of the film as it is at the end of the film. I did have to account for different aspect ratios for different segments as we switch from like full frame 16:9 to cinema scope to 4:3 and so on. But honestly, I really welcomed this challenge. I'm a big film buff, I especially like older cinema, and it was just super fun, recreating these vintage movie aesthetics.
Yeah, I love that. They kind of did that.
The music for Terrible Lizards was composed by Ivan Dutch, and I genuinely think this is his best work to date. I feel you can absolutely hear echoes of The Rite of Spring featured in Fantasia, 1933's King Kong, Walking with Dinosaurs, and even the modern big-budget orchestral soundtracks of nature documentaries of today, all in this one score, evolving as the film evolves.
Yeah, music. Dude cooked. The music was amazing. I love the music.
Ivan has even made his own behind-the-scenes video covering how he created the music for this film, which I'll link in the description below.
That's
Please
cool.
do go check out Ivan's work if you haven't already. His YouTube account, his Patreon, his website, his whatever else, because
That's
he
so
deserves
cool.
so much more
No,
attention
yeah.
than he gets for his truly fantastic work.
I kind of hope that they release a video where it's like all of the music, like without like any like just the music. I feel like people who like make I'm not a person who goes and is doing music, but like I feel like a lot of times they have to cut down the music just to fit for the film or whatever. But I'm wondering, like, I hope that he releases like a full song and like all of the tracks, like the full song, so it's like you get to hear all of it, because like I want to listen to more of that, because like that the music in that amazing. Evolution.
I really like this film. It's incredibly different from the other films in the series, and I think it's a really great celebration of our history with dinosaurs. It was also just a lot of fun to make. Being chopped up into 4 distinct, smaller parts made this film much more pleasant to work through than usual. It was just a lot tidier and far less overwhelming this way.
Yeah.
I also really enjoyed just drawing so much inspiration from a whole bunch of stuff I love. Movies, books, documentaries, paleo art, and even toys. This film is full of Easter eggs and references to all of my favourite paleo media over the past 2 centuries. Subtle nods to everything, like the original King Kong, Phil Tippett's Prehistoric Beast, to Walking with Dinosaurs, and so much more. But I also have a few issues with it. The biggest of which is something I feel I definitely need to discuss. These 2 animals, Megalosaurus and Iguanodon, were actually separated by approximately 40 million years. So even though they're often depicted as a pair and are found in the same country, Megalosaurus is from the Middle Jurassic, and Iguanodon is from the early Cretaceous. They didn't live together at all. This inaccuracy was not an oversight, it wasn't a mistake, and the original ending of this film did address it, which I'll show now. You see, originally the film would have Iguanodon and Megalosaurus coexisting, as was often depicted in the 1800s, but by the end of the film, science catches up and puts the herd of Iguanodon into the Cretaceous where they belong. This was the ending of the film, almost until release. As you can see, the scene, it's done. It's fully animated, it's fully sound mixed. The reason I removed this scene is because, quite frankly, it's just weird. I feel only huge dinosaur fans would even notice these two animals shouldn't be living together, and the other 90% of people watching this film would be totally flabbergasted by the magical disappearing dinosaurs. But the main reason I removed this scene is because, even though the film already plays with the rules of reality a little, after watching the finished film, this moment crossed a line into the fantastical for me that completely took me out of the story being told. I did consider having the Megalosaurus just wake up to no Iguanodon at all, just Middle Jurassic, as per usual. But that would not only rob the audience of seeing Hylaeosaurus and Iguanodon evolve into their modern depictions, but would also rob the film of this final shared peaceful moment between these two titans of Dinosauria. From a filmmaking perspective, this shared moment between these two, it's necessary. It completes the story. The film needs this moment. It was never gonna go. So yeah, in the end I just decided that putting a herd of Iguanodon into the Middle Jurassic was well worth the better filmmaking and the better storytelling. All in all, I do still really like Terrible Lizards. It was fun, it was a good way to kick off the new series, and it's just very different from the rest of the Dinosauria films. It's not my favourite of Dinosauria Volume 2. In fact, I think the episode coming up next, Hunted by Moonlight, is quite a bit better.
I am very excited for this one.
Thank you all so much for watching. I love making dinosaur stuff, and if you want to support me and support all my dinosaur stuff, please check out my Patreon page. I post frequent weekly updates about all my upcoming animated projects over there, including exclusive behind-the-scenes renders and screenshots like the ones I'm showing on screen right now.
Yes!
And for just $5, you can read through all my sketchbook work I've been showing off in this video as well. All my old sketchbooks are on there too, but I just uploaded the first chunk of this Dinosauria Volume 2 sketchbook, and more will be added as the series goes on.
Yeah.
Before I go, super special thanks to all my top Patreon supporters scrolling by on screen.
Hells yeah, I'm gonna talk now and do my outro. Thank you guys so much for watching. It means so much when you took the time out of your day to watch this video. I'm sorry, I've been gone for a while. I've been streaming a little bit more. I haven't been uploading any, like, YouTube videos. But, honestly, watching this kind of wants me, like, I kind of want to get back into, like, YouTube for this channel. Like, I don't know if it would be, like, I mean, I don't want to touch SFM. I'm kind of done with SFM. I kind of want to stay in Blender. But maybe I'll do more gameplay. Maybe I'll find some more, like, dinosaur games. God, I'm trying to have a special moment here, and, like, freaking Freaky Friday comes out next, I guess it's coming out, but thank you. But, anyways, I kind of want to, I don't know, I want to do more dinosaur stuff now. Like, I haven't really been in a dinosaur, I guess, mood for the channel, so that's why it's kind of been pretty quiet. But, yeah, I will try and react to the next video on time. Hopefully Tyrannus will be there. I was supposed to do this with Tyrannus last week, but, you know, life happens. But, yeah. Hopefully we'll have some kind of face cam. I kind of feel bad that you guys don't have anything. Maybe if you guys have any suggestions that is an alternative to face cam. Right now, the best thing I got right now is my PNG model. But, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. It means so much to me you took the time out of your day to watch this video. Guys, seriously, I appreciate it, and hope you have a nice day. And remember, flamingos and pelicans. Woo!